Awesome. Okay, so we're ready to rock and roll. And just to head this question off, yes, this is recorded. It's also going to be up on our YouTube channel for SHIP, and we will be sending out the link afterwards. So if anybody hops in late or needs to leave early or whatever ends up happening, the recording as well as the slides will be shared afterwards. But good evening, everybody. Thank you for the last edition of our Career Catalyst series, which is kind of a pilot program that we've been testing out, just a career preparation series. I'm glad to see so many people have consistently attended. But tonight's session is going to be on networking, tips for networking effectively, some questions to be thinking about, how to stand out and maximize the most of your time networking. And really in the goal is to prepare those of you who are going to national convention, but also if you're not going to national convention, this is relevant for your careers in general. So there will be lots of networking opportunities in person and virtual throughout the duration of
Oh,
your
this shit
career.
house.
Also your any school career fairs that you
Oh
might
my
be
god.
attending.
Your speaker's not working.
So
Please check your connection to use a different speaker.
this will be relevant no matter what. So just a reminder to please mute if you're not already. But okay, we can go ahead and get started. Here's a quick rundown on the contents of what we're going to be talking about tonight. So again, we'll be talking about some etiquette with career fairs, particularly the SHIP National Convention career fairs. Some tips on just like general networking, even outside of that. Refresher on when to use your story and what an elevator pitch is and some of the differences there. For those of you who attended our last session would have heard some of that already, but we'll do a quick refresher on that. We'll do some talk on how to follow up after networking. And then we've got some sample questions that you can utilize for your networking time that you can use at career fairs, that you can use at different events. And then lastly, we will get into our speed networking portion of the evening where everyone will get a chance to just connect with the other attendees that are here. So let's jump right into it. Again, so I'm Ruben Mercado. I'm the Career and Leadership Development Program Manager here at SHIP. Just a little bit about me for those of you who maybe haven't attended one of these before and that I haven't gotten a chance to interact with. But I'm here to help, here to support on career and leadership development initiatives. So feel free to reach out. I've got my email here a little bit later. So I've been doing some sessions with different chapters in leading up to the convention as well. So if you have ideas, if you want to connect, feel free to reach out on the subject of networking. And my wonderful colleague, Dr. Ana Rodriguez, is here as well. Ana, if you want to hop on and introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy that you're all here getting prepared and ready for a convention. So my name is Ana Rodriguez. If any of you call me doctor, we will never be friends. So
Sorry.
it's fine. So I am Boricua. I did my schooling for my bachelor's degree in Puerto Rico. And then I went to UMass Amherst, where it was as warm as Puerto Rico. Yeah, right? And did doctorate degree in organizational development and training. That's why I'm in charge of content and assisting my colleague here, Ruben, with some of the content for today's presentation. My title change. I'm the Higher Education Graduate Program Manager at the Research and Impact at SHIP. And I joined SHIP in 2019. So this September, I completed my 7th year here. That's how much I love you all. So I'm very happy to be here. Please take a picture of this slide. What you see here is my email at the contact info. The phone there is my cell phone number, and that is how you can connect with me via LinkedIn. If you're looking also for a different way of doing your interview at the career fair, please connect with me in my LinkedIn, and I will be more than happy to talk to you more at depth of what I will be discussing today, elevator pitch versus telling your story. So if you want a little bit more help in how to put that together, connect with me, and I will be here to help you. And don't be afraid, I don't bite. So just please feel free to do so, and I will be more than happy to connect with you and talk to you. And please know that it's not going to be just one call. I want you then to practice with me so that you can be totally ready for the convention. And with that, I'll bring it back to Ruben. Thank you all.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ana. And yeah, everyone definitely be sure to connect. Ana's been to several of our conventions and has seen what works and what doesn't work, and can give a lot of insight and advice. So please make sure to reach out and connect with her. So, okay, we're going to start this evening, just some quick networking tips, just different like aspects of it and things to be mindful of, and going into research. So particularly for convention. So those of you who attended our previous session on interviews, this probably sounds familiar, hopefully, but it's something that we harp a lot. Research, research, research. Those of you who are attending convention, you can already find the list of companies that are participating and the career fair map, the floor map on the convention readiness page. I can provide a link for that a little bit later, or I've seen some people that are on the convention readiness, or Anna, if somebody can provide that as well. But go ahead and start making a game plan, create a plan of who you want to talk to, where to go. Just be prepared to stand in line, but shorter lines this year. We've taken a lot of steps towards alleviating that and making it quicker and more manageable. And so creating a plan of at least 4 to 5 companies for sure per day that you want to talk to, but also having backups, just kind of looking into everyone that's relevant for your majors, everyone that's relevant for your career goals, and having a plan of how to go about talking to them. Some of the work that they're doing, just being prepared to come up to the booth confidently and share about yourself, and knowing already like what they do, some of the work that they're doing. This is something that I tell people often is don't come up to a booth or a table at any kind of career fair and just say, what do y'all do? Are you hiring? Just things, because they want to know that you've done your research. They want to know that you're prepared. They want to know that you are interested in that company specifically. So come with a few talking points, come with some knowledge of what they're already doing, and just come as yourself and be prepared and confident. So, and then, yeah, those other talking points. So what roles they're hiring for, and also be sure to have plenty of copies of your resume. That's something that you can refer to, something that you can hand them. They're, you'll see them a lot of times as the conversation's going, they might write down a quick note on your resume so they can know like to follow up, and they can know like what you all talked about. I'll talk a little bit more specifically about the follow-up a little bit later in the presentation, but always be sure to have plenty of copies of your resume. Anna, any particular points here you wanted to emphasize as well?
Yes, please, not more than 4, and rank those companies because you want to know where you're going to go first, second, third, and fourth. Have some backups, and bring copies. Yes, we will have printers for you to print your resume at convention, but the line can get so long that if you can prepare ahead and bring those resumes already prepared, ready, and you're good to go, then you won't spend that time in that line. So make sure you come in totally ready. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. And then some tips on general networking. So even outside of the SHIP career fair and outside of the convention, so any events that you are attending, same thing, like do as much research as you can ahead of time on attendees and events. Those of you who are pretty involved in your SHIP chapters, I know they on the local level do a great job of getting companies together and just knowing who's coming ahead of time. I attended an event a couple weeks ago over in Houston where we had like kind of a mini networking session, and a couple of companies were there, and we had some of our student members as well as professional members there. So just anytime that you see something like that promoted on social media, on LinkedIn, just finding as much information as you can ahead of time. And then also updating any professional profiles you have, and having some digital and physical business cards ready to share. If you are able to get any like printed copies of business cards, I know previous institution I worked at, that's a resource that was provided by the Career Center, where they were able to do some physical copies of your business card, just like how to get in touch with you in terms of phone number and email, your LinkedIn and stuff like that. But there's also some digital resources. I think Blink is the one that you had mentioned, Anna.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Did you want to talk a little bit more about that one?
Blink, you can put all your information there. It's totally free. And then the only thing that you show is a QR code, and then that recruiter can have your information right there to connect with you. So you can put your LinkedIn, your email, and everything else in there. So check that out, Blink.
Yeah, that's a good one. I have a profile. I have a Blink card, but there's a few others as well. So you spend some time doing some research on like digital Connect cards, and it's basically a QR code that can take the recruiter or whoever you're talking to. They can go directly to your LinkedIn. They can contact you via email and just get everything right there. So a little bit more.
And the spelling is different. I put it on the chat. It's Bling, Bling with a Q at the end. So
Yes,
check that out, download it, put your information, and you'll be there.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so a little bit more sustainable and easier than just like having multiple copies of a physical business card. But if you can get physical business cards, that's, it's also could be helpful. So, and then also just preparing like thoughtful questions and practicing. So again, we'll share a little bit later some sample questions that you can ask in networking type settings. But just kind of having those ready to go, having some ideas that you can kind of pick and choose from depending on how the conversation's going, or just like being able to follow up on different things. Also just like, I didn't put this as a bullet point, but I just did a presentation last week about active listening and the benefits of that. So, practicing active listening, if you're in a physical setting that has a lot of people, just trying to minimize distractions as best you can, making sure that you are standing up straight and maintaining all the positive body language, maintaining eye contact, smiling, nodding your head, all that good stuff. Even online, if you're having like a coffee chat with somebody that you reached out to on LinkedIn or something like that, just the same thing in terms of positive body language, good eye contact, confidence, all that good stuff. So just be sure to practice that ahead of time and have some of those questions ready to go. So, and then of course, just like introducing yourself. And this is kind of a refresher on what we talked about last week or a couple of weeks ago on the telling your story versus like what your elevator pitch might look like. So Anna, this was where you really shined in something that you emphasized a lot. I don't know if you wanted to share a little bit more for maybe people who didn't attend the last session.
Absolutely. Now imagine this scenario. There are 10 people there before you talking to this recruiter. And then the person that goes first, so the 10th person says their elevator speech or pitch, and then the second one as well. And then when they get to you and you have an elevator pitch ready, guess what that recruiter is going to be doing? Who can tell me? If he has already heard 9 elevator pitches. Great, come on, talk to me.
She will just start calling on people.
Yep, I will.
He's going to start comparing you.
Not only comparing you, but that's a good one. They will be asleep with their eyes open. Another elevator pitch. Oh my God. And I know this because I have talked to the recruiters that are there at the career fair, and I have asked them. And remember, I have been here 7 years. How many elevator pitches have you heard today? And they said, more than I could even stomach. That's why I want connect with me via LinkedIn, because there's a time to use an elevator pitch and there's a time to tell your story. For example, and this is invented, I created this to give you an example. My parents got a new TV and then they went on vacation, but I wanted to see how that TV worked. It was brand new, state of the art. I took it all apart. And then before they came back, I put it all back together and put it back where it was. But then, well, the TV, when it was new, was in color. Now it's only black and white, but it works. So telling your story has an impact. See how I can see all of your eyes on me telling you this fictional story. I don't want you to be fictional. I don't want you to invent something that you have not done. But telling your story, if you connect, it will help you better connect with the recruiter. And I'm not crazy, because your story, Leandro, or Alejandro, or Aziz, or Sandra, or everybody who's here is different. And one of those stories will help you connect with that recruiter. So please, if you want a little bit more information about this or how to combine both of these approaches, connect with me via LinkedIn. I will be your advocate. I will help you. And again, it's not one-off kind of conversation. We will have plenty of more conversations because I want you to be ready. I want you to get that job or internship. And trust me, if you don't hear the passion that I have and how much I will support you in my voice, then I don't know what else to do. So yes, go ahead. Oh yeah, I can tell you quickly when to use each. However, see the recording that we have in our YouTube channel. Sometimes if you are in an elevator and you see the recruiter at a convention, you can do your elevator pitch there. But I urge you, let me help you with creating your story, but you have to do most of the work because that will help you connect. And it should not take either one. The elevator pitch should last no more than 2 minutes, but best 1 minute. The telling your story should not last more than no more than 5 minutes, but 4 is better. So it's a quicker, but a better connection and a better kind of you telling from your heart without going into details, but your passion and what you have done. I'm telling you, you're going to connect with that recruiter really quickly. So if you want more information about this, connect with me via LinkedIn. I will send you my number, and my number was also there. Text me first because I have a blog for robocalls. Text me first. Is this a good time to call? And I will answer you. I promise, because my promise is for you to be super prepared. Thank you, Ruben.
Thank you, Ana. And yes, absolutely. So just when we talk about networking, I think a lot of times it's kind of a daunting term, or people maybe aren't as familiar with it or think of it as this super formal thing. But yeah, it's telling your story, it's getting to know somebody, it's establishing a connection that hopefully leads to a fruitful, mutually beneficial relationship. So absolutely, practice that and just familiarize yourself with the best way of going about that and knowing when the situation calls for it. So wanted to hit some other bullet points on career fair etiquette specifically. This is transferable to a lot of professional settings as well. So those of you who are attending the SHIP convention and attending career fair, but also just like your school's career fair or any networking events that maybe your SHIP chapter or a similar organization is hosting. Wardrobe. So we want to look our best. We want to make sure we're sharp. I know Ana's going to be at convention with her scissors, making sure that the suits are ready to go. There's no dangling threads or anything like that. So just making sure that you've got the best foot forward in terms of the wardrobe. And just researching ahead of time. So definitely for career fair and for the SHIP convention, real professional. So we want you looking your best. But find out ahead of time, depending on where you're going to, if you're going to maybe like a mixer or a happy hour that a prospective company is hosting, maybe the dress or the attire is like less formal. So there's nothing wrong with like reaching out and just figuring that out ahead of time. But definitely for career fairs, particularly the SHIP convention, want to do business professional. So, and Ana, I saw you unmuted and had something to say.
Yes, I want to, if you have, and ladies as well, you put a skirt, you put a suit, check the back of your suit for gentlemen and also the female here. Check the back. Usually there's a little X of a stitch, very easy, but it's an X in the slit in the back of your suit. Use scissors, don't rip it. Use scissors, cut that out because that will give you more movement in what I like to say, your colita. So if you think that your suit is too tight on the bottom, it's because of that. So make sure you check your skirts, your suits, blazers, and cut that out. Because they ship it like that for that slit not to break in transit. That needs to be cut. Trust me on this. And if you don't do it, I will be ready with my scissors at convention.
I've seen it firsthand because I was wearing a suit that didn't have the string cut already. So and Ana caught and helped me out. So yeah, absolutely. Other etiquette pieces. So of course, like we talked about, just having your resume ready to go, hand out. As Ana mentioned, especially at SHIP convention, we'll have printers there. So you'll be able to print out more copies of your resume as need be. Kind of memorizing your story and practicing your networking pitch. depending on what the situation calls for, and knowing which one to go with and how to kind of get it across quickly. And then also just that point that I emphasized earlier on having questions, showing that you did your own research, and having all smiles, positive body language, like happy to be there, excited to be there, doing whatever you need to ahead of time. So making sure that you're like resting, making sure that you're caffeinated if you need to, but don't spend too much time in the coffee line if the career fair is going on and you see there's a super long line at Starbucks, kind of making a decision there. Hydrating, exercising when you can, just all that good stuff, making sure that you are presenting your best self at the career fair or any similar settings. And then the follow-up piece. So this is when I'm talking to particularly students or early career professionals, this is something that I emphasize because it's such I feel underutilized, under-discussed thing. Always follow up, always. So when you're connecting with people, making sure that you're getting their business cards, making sure that you're getting their email, their LinkedIn, and reaching out after the fact. I don't have the data like readily available, but I've done some diving into the numbers on like how many people do this and don't do this depending on what setting they're in. And you'd be shocked at how many people just don't even bother to do this. So always follow up. Don't be shy. That's why they're there. I always tell people to give it a couple of days afterwards. So for our recruiters that are going to be at the SHIP convention, at the career fair, it's long days, and then when they're getting back to their home, they might be attending like other similar events also. This is kind of their heavy travel season, heavy recruiting season, so you want to give them a little bit of time. I always say around like 3 business days, just be sure to send the follow-up sometime after that. Reason being that if you send something like right after the fact while convention's still going on, you run the risk of getting buried in their inbox. So you want to be a little bit closer to the top if possible. So, and it can vary. Maybe that's something you could even ask about, like, oh, well, you're talking to the recruiter. Oh, do you have many more events like this coming up? Are you back in the office? What is your next couple weeks ago? So just like kind of a little icebreaker thing, but also beneficial for you because you know when they're going to be checking their email, when you might have an advantageous chance to follow up. So waiting a little bit, but also following up. And then the other thing that I get asked is people get really shy if they don't get a response about sending a follow-up. There's nothing wrong with sending a follow-up. Don't be scared to, you know, I know double texting has a stigma to it or double emailing has a stigma to it, but they're busy. That's just the reality of the situation. They got a lot of candidates, they got a lot of events, they got a lot going on. If you haven't gotten a response, I would say within like a week and a half or so, I would send a follow-up just kind of reiterating in the same email thread, just, hey, I was really excited to meet you at convention. I was hoping to hear more about the position. I was really excited. So I understand you're busy, but was hoping to get a chance to connect or just an update whenever you have a chance. So that's, you know, that's a potential follow-up script. Another thing when you're doing the follow-up is remember who you talked to and what you talked about. So as you're getting business cards, or even just like in your phone or whatever, just writing down a little note. Like today I stopped at the Honeywell booth. I spoke to so-and-so. This is one of the things we talked about, especially if you told a joke and it landed, or if you had a good conversation about something like just fun, like maybe they got to explore a little bit of the city while they were there at convention. You can say in your email, I also enjoyed hearing about blah, blah, blah. And then that way they also remember who you are. So, because again, they're going to talk to a lot of people and things like this. So just being sure to do that and just sending those emails and those connection requests within a couple of business days. So always important. Next, before we get into the breakout rooms, wanted to share a little bit on some specific networking questions that you could potentially use and different categories. So this is some questions related to like the company and the organization that you're expressing an interest in. So asking what is unique about their company culture. Asking about the culture is a good way to show that you have a vested interest in what it's like working there, that you're already thinking of what it's like to work there, and that you're already imagining yourself there. So also related to that, asking about any professional development opportunities that they might offer. If you're looking for an internship, is there going to be a chance to participate in like other projects or maybe shadow like other teams just to kind of get some cross-functional experience? And how do they measure success in this role and in this company? So pretty good standard follow-up interview question, but also a good networking one as well, just so you can kind of know going into it what they're looking for and what they're expecting. So that's related to the company and the organization. Some things on just like professional networking. So this can be, when I look at these types of questions, I'm envisioning maybe if you got an invite to one of the hospitality suites and you're talking to an employee from the company that you're interested in, or just in passing, like after a session or something like that. Or if you've reached out to somebody on LinkedIn to do kind of an informational interview, what does a typical day look like for you? What's the most exciting project you're currently working on, or the biggest project they're working on? That of course they would be able to talk about. Like some people, there might be NDAs involved, there might be like some secret stuff that they can't quite talk about, but just as much as they can share. Just it's really just showing an interest in their work and showing an interest in them as a person and as a professional. And then also what the most like challenging part of their work is, how do they overcome it? Maybe get some ideas for yourself, as well as like just learning more about the individual you're talking to. And then pretty standard for the last one, just advice that they would give to somebody entering the field, so that you can kind of set yourself apart and set yourself up for success. And then for some things on goal orientation and collaboration, kind of similar to the previous one, but just like what their top 3 professional goals might be for the upcoming year, what skills they're hoping to develop next. This might get their gears flowing and maybe give them some ideas of things that they want to do too. So mutually beneficial as well. And if they're looking for any collaborators or mentors in any areas. So kind of putting yourself out there as somebody who's willing to go the extra mile and lend some extra help. And then just some fun ones, like some personal networking questions. So just maybe what's something that they like to do outside of work. I'm a runner, so that's my colleagues and friends. That's mostly like what they hear me talking about. So if I can bond with somebody over that, that's an easy lift for me. So, but just asking them what's something that they love to do outside of work. Have they gotten to explore the city? So this is an easy one because we're going to be in Philadelphia for convention. I've never been. I'm excited. I'm sure a lot of other people, same boat. Maybe some of the recruiters, same thing. But that's a quick thing that maybe you can bond over. Like, I got a cheesesteak at this place. It was great. You should go if you have time before you leave. And, just some light things on like maybe what their first job was, what did it teach them? Maybe you'll find something similar. Like my first job was at Chick-fil-A. Maybe I'm talking to somebody and like, oh, my first job was at Chick-fil-A too. So I already know we have that in common. It took us years afterwards to forget to stop saying my pleasure after somebody says thank you. So something mutually beneficial and something that's easy to remember there. So those are some sample networking questions. Again, we'll be providing these. So, and there's some more as well. So we had quite a long list, so we'll share that out in the email that goes out along with the slides and the recording after the fact. So, okay. I'm right on time, which I was worried about, but we're going to do some speed networking. So we really wanted to spend a lot of tonight. This is kind of our wrap up for the Career Catalyst series. So you probably see some familiar faces, people that have been at a few of these events. So we're going to create breakout rooms and just a chance for you all to connect, practice your story, practice your elevator pitches. Anna, we said 20 minutes per breakout room. So you'll get a chance to, really go pretty in depth, share with the other people in your group. Share your LinkedIn, share your email, especially those of you people that are going to convention. This is a good way to get in touch with people ahead of time and to learn a little bit about some people that you'll be around. And these are some suggestions on and some things on what we're doing. So we'll be moving you around the breakout rooms. We're probably going to do, as time allows, 3 breakout rooms. So they'll be assigned at random, and then you'll come back. We'll give a time warning, and then once we come back, we'll do the next breakout room. Hopefully it will be like with all new people and so on and so forth. So yeah, just some reminders to introduce yourself, a little bit about your background, practice active listening like we talked about, and just like minimize any distractions in your work area and doing that positive body language that we talked about. So that's what we're doing next. Really quick before I see the chat's been pretty active, but I did want to check really quick if there were questions on any things that we've talked about so far while I start making the breakout rooms, because I got to do some math too.
I've been trying to answer students, thank you for connecting with me, and I don't lie, and I will be calling you, but do know that I have other people in line, so first come, first serve, but I will be calling you, so be prepared for that. That's That's a threat. No, I'm kidding. You know what I mean. But there's somebody wants the convention website link or something. What do you mean by that, Soya?
We shared it. Somebody already answered it.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Yamil.
Of course.
Yamil, thank you for being here. I saw you. I didn't want to shout you out specifically, but I saw you here. I was like, oh, Yamil can like answer things too. So that's.
Yeah,
our
I'm happy to
purpose,
be
I
here. Thanks.
So you should have seen the invites come up, so feel free to hop in. If you need any help, if you need to get moved around, just let us know. I'll be here in the main room and I'll kind of just be hopping around. But we'll see everybody back in about 20 minutes before we get into the next room. So thanks for being here, everyone.